Money, it's one of the most powerful forces in human life, yet also one of the most misunderstood. It shapes our choices, relationships, ambitions, and even our sense of identity. But behind every financial decision, whether it's saving, spending, investing, or giving, lies something far deeper than numbers: the psychology of money. Most people believe financial success is determined by external factors: education, hard work, timing, or opportunity. But decades of research in behavioral finance and neuroscience reveal a more profound truth. Your financial destiny is shaped more by your mind than by your math. The hidden beliefs, emotions, and subconscious patterns you carry about money determine how you earn it, how you manage it, and how much of it stays with you. This audiobook, Financial Psychology: The Hidden Forces That Drive Your Money Decisions, takes you on a transformative journey into the inner world of wealth, where thought meets emotion and emotion meets behavior. You will uncover the invisible scripts written in your childhood, the emotional triggers that influence your spending, and the cognitive biases that distort financial judgment. You'll also discover how neuroscience explains your brain's response to risk and reward, why some people fear money, while others chase it recklessly. Most importantly, you'll learn how to reprogram your financial mindset, turning self-sabotaging beliefs into empowering convictions that attract prosperity naturally. Whether you are a business professional, entrepreneur, investor, or simply someone seeking a healthier relationship with money, this audiobook will help you understand the deepest truth about financial success. You don't need more money to feel wealthy. You need a new mindset. So prepare to look beyond your bank account and into the mirror of your beliefs. Prepare to meet the real driver of your financial life: your mind. Financial Psychology: The Hidden Forces That Drive Your Money Decisions. Written and published by the Zillion Pro. Chapter 1: The Mind Behind the Money. Money is more than numbers, coins, or pieces of paper. It is a mirror reflecting how we think, what we value, and who we believe we are. Before we can change our financial situation, we must first understand the mind behind our money. Your financial life is not simply the product of your income or opportunities. It is the outcome of your inner beliefs, habits, and perceptions. Every purchase, every saving choice, every investment decision, whether wise or foolish, begins in the mind. The mental blueprint of wealth. From childhood, each of us develops a unique money map. This map is drawn by early experiences: how our parents handled bills, how teachers spoke about success, how society portrayed the rich and the poor. Over time, these experiences solidify into unconscious beliefs, such as "money is hard to get," "rich people are greedy," or "I don't deserve abundance." These beliefs silently guide your financial behaviors. If you subconsciously associate money with danger or guilt, you'll unconsciously repel it. If you associate wealth with freedom and impact, you'll naturally attract opportunities to create it. To change your finances, you must redraw your internal map, reprogramming how your mind perceives money. The thought-behavior connection. Psychologists have long observed that thoughts produce emotions, and emotions drive behavior. In Money Matters, this means that your financial habits are emotional reactions, not just logical choices. For example, overspending may not stem from greed, but from an emotional need to feel loved, accepted, or worthy. Hoarding money may not reflect discipline, but deep-seated fear of loss or scarcity. Every financial behavior has a psychological root. Once you identify the emotion beneath the behavior, you can begin to heal the pattern that produces it. Money as a mirror of the self. Your financial life reflects your inner world. If your money is chaotic, chances are your thoughts and emotions are unsettled. If your finances are stable, your inner world is likely grounded and clear. Money is neutral. It magnifies who you already are. The generous person becomes more generous with wealth. The fearful person becomes more fearful. Therefore, Growing your money without growing your mindset only multiplies your dysfunctions. Rewiring the mind for prosperity. To build a healthy financial psychology, you must train your mind to see money differently. From scarcity to abundance, believing there is enough for everyone. From survival to strategy, making decisions from clarity, not fear. From emotion to intelligence, pausing before reacting to financial stress. From chance to choice, realizing that your financial destiny is shaped by your decisions, not fate. Through daily awareness, gratitude, and conscious money management, you can reshape the mental foundation that governs your financial world. The path ahead. As we proceed, you'll discover that financial success is not just about learning what to do with money, but how to think about money. The most powerful investment you can ever make is in your mindset. Because once the mind is transformed, the money follows. Chapter 2. The emotional brain and your wallet. Money decisions are rarely rational, they are emotional. Behind every purchase, every investment, every moment of hesitation or risk-taking lies the emotional brain, an ancient system that reacts long before reason has time to speak. While we like to think of ourselves as logical beings who sometimes feel, the truth is that we are emotional beings who occasionally think. Nowhere is this more evident than in the way we handle money. The two minds at work. Neuroscientists describe two systems in the human brain. The emotional brain limbic system, which reacts instantly with fear, desire, or pleasure. The rational brain prefrontal cortex, which analyzes plans and reasons. In moments of financial stress or temptation, seeing a sale, watching market volatility, or facing unexpected bills, the emotional brain takes charge. It whispers, "Buy it now before it's gone," or screams, "Sell before you lose everything." The rational brain knows better, but it often gets overruled by the emotional storm. Understanding this internal tug-of-war is the first step toward mastering your financial emotions. Fear and greed, the twin forces of finance. Every financial market, every business cycle, and every personal spending habit is driven by two primal emotions, fear and greed. Fear makes us cling to money, avoid risk, and hoard resources, even when opportunities abound. Greed makes us overreach, overspend, and overinvest, chasing the thrill of gain without counting the cost. These two emotions constantly battle for dominance in our financial lives. A wise person learns to observe them without being controlled by them. Because true financial intelligence is not the absence of emotion, it's the mastery of it. The dopamine effect, why we buy what we don't need. Every time you anticipate a reward, a new gadget, a designer outfit, a profitable trade, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical of desire. Marketers and app designers know this secret well. They use colors, sounds, and limited-time offers to trigger a surge of excitement that bypasses reason. Dopamine doesn't make you happy, it makes you want. It's the craving, not the satisfaction, that drives spending. That's why after the excitement fades, buyer's remorse sets in, the emotional crash that follows the high. Learning to recognize the dopamine rush gives you the power to pause, to breathe, to think, and to choose intentionally rather than impulsively. Emotional spending, buying feelings, not things. People don't buy products, they buy emotions. The luxury watch represents confidence. The big house represents success. The vacation represents freedom. But when emotions rule, logic retreats. Many fall into cycles of emotional spending, trying to fill inner voids with external things. It's not the object we crave, it's the feeling it promises. The problem is, emotional purchases deliver temporary relief, not lasting fulfillment. True wealth begins when you no longer buy to feel better, but to build better. Mastering your financial emotions. to break free from emotional manipulation and self-sabotage. Pause before purchase. Give emotions time to settle before acting. Name the feeling. Is it fear, pride, envy, or excitement driving this choice? Separate emotion from action. Feel what you feel, but decide with clarity. Develop emotional discipline. Like financial muscles, emotional control strengthens with daily awareness. Money flows naturally to those who manage emotion better than others. The world rewards emotional maturity with financial stability. The calm investor, the wise spender. In the long run, your success with money won't depend solely on intelligence or luck, but on your ability to stay calm when others panic and to stay grounded when others chase hype. When you master your emotional brain, your wallet becomes your servant, not your master. Because the greatest wealth is not in what you earn, it's in what you can control. Chapter 3: Money Scripts, the subconscious stories you live by. Every human being carries a hidden financial script, an invisible story written long before adulthood, long before your first job, your first credit card, or your first major financial decision. These money scripts run silently in the background of your mind, shaping how you think, feel, and act around money. They are the unseen forces that make you generous or stingy, cautious or reckless, confident or fearful. And until you rewrite these inner stories, no amount of financial education or opportunity can bring lasting change. The origins of your money story. Our relationship with money begins in childhood, not in the classroom, but in the living room. We learn about money not through lessons, but through observation. When you watched your parents argue about bills, save obsessively, or spend impulsively, you were unconsciously forming your beliefs about money. When you heard phrases like money doesn't grow on trees or rich people are selfish, your young mind accepted them as truth. Without realizing it, these experiences became part of your internal narrative, the money story you would live out as an adult. The 4 major money scripts. Researchers in financial psychology have identified 4 common money scripts that govern most people's behavior. Let's explore them. A money avoidance. Believing that money is bad or that wanting more is wrong. Those with this script may feel guilty about wealth or fear becoming greedy, leading to self-sabotage and chronic under-earning. B. Money worship. Believing that more money will solve all problems. This script drives overwork, burnout, and the endless pursuit of more, yet often leaves people emotionally unfulfilled. C. Money status. Equating self-worth with net worth. People with this script spend to impress, seeking validation through possessions and appearances. D. Money vigilance. Believing that money must be earned, saved, and protected at all costs. While this script can promote discipline, it often breeds anxiety, distrust, and a scarcity mindset. Each script carries both strengths and weaknesses, but awareness is what turns them into tools for growth rather than traps of limitation. The power of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is like an autopilot. It operates beneath awareness, directing over 90% of your daily behavior. When it comes to money, this means that you don't decide how to feel about saving or spending. You react according to your programmed beliefs. If your subconscious associates wealth with fear, you'll unconsciously push it away. If it associates success with loss or rejection, you'll find ways to limit your progress just before you break through. This is why people can earn more and still feel broke. The subconscious script hasn't changed, even though the numbers have. Recognizing your script. To identify your own money script, ask yourself, what did I hear about money growing up? How did my parents or guardians handle financial stress? How do I feel when I receive money? Joy, guilt, or anxiety? What patterns keep repeating in my financial life? Write your answers down. Patterns will begin to emerge, threads of a story that has been running for years. That story has power only until you bring it into the light. Awareness is the beginning of transformation. Rewriting the script. Reprogramming your financial subconscious requires conscious practice. Start by challenging false beliefs. Replace "I don't deserve wealth" with "I am worthy of abundance and can use it wisely." Replace "money is evil" with "money is energy that reflects my values and choices." Replace "I'll always struggle" with "I'm learning to create lasting prosperity." Every time you choose a new belief, you install a new pattern into your subconscious. Change your story, and your financial behavior will follow. From reaction to creation. When you live by unconscious money scripts, you are reacting to the past. But when you become aware of them, you step into creation, designing your financial life with intention. The goal is not to destroy your old scripts, but to evolve them. You can keep the discipline of money vigilance, but release the fear. You can retain the ambition of money worship, but balance it with purpose. You can pursue wealth, not as escape, but as expression. The new narrative. From this chapter forward, your task is to become the author of your financial story. Not your parents, not society, not your past. You. Because when you consciously rewrite your money script, you reclaim power over your destiny and turn your financial life into a reflection of your highest truth, not your deepest fear. Chapter 4: The Cognitive Bias Trap. We like to believe that we make smart, rational financial choices, that our spending, saving, and investing are driven by logic. But in truth, most financial decisions are made not in spreadsheets or calculators, but in the hidden corridors of the mind, a place full of shortcuts, distortions, and invisible errors called cognitive biases. These biases are the brain's way of simplifying complex decisions. They save time, but they can also sabotage judgment, especially when money is involved. Understanding them is like discovering the fine print of your own thinking and learning how to outsmart yourself. The invisible errors of thinking. Our brains are designed for survival, not for sound investing or wealth creation. They evolved to react quickly, not to analyze slowly. So when faced with financial uncertainty, market fluctuations, business risks, or even daily spending, we often rely on mental shortcuts or heuristics. These shortcuts help us make fast decisions, but they also lead to predictable mistakes. And the more emotional the situation, the more likely we are to fall into these mental traps. Common cognitive biases that shape your money decisions. Let's examine the most common mental traps that distort your financial reality. A confirmation bias, seeing what you want to see. You seek information that confirms your existing beliefs and ignore what challenges them. If you believe a certain investment is the next big thing, you'll focus only on positive news and overlook warning signs. The result: poor decisions based on filtered perception rather than objective truth. Solution: train yourself to seek opposing viewpoints. Wisdom grows when you listen to what contradicts you. Be loss aversion. The fear of losing hurts more than winning feels good. Psychologists found that losing $1,000 feels twice as painful as gaining $1,000 feels good. This emotional imbalance makes people avoid risk even when it's rational, or hold onto losing investments just to avoid realizing the loss. Solution: redefine loss as learning. In the long run, risk intelligently taken leads to growth. See anchoring bias. The first number controls the mind. Your brain fixates on the first piece of information it receives, a price tag, a salary, a stock price, and uses it as a mental anchor. If a product is first shown at $2,000 and then discounted to $1,500, it feels like a deal, even if the real value is $1,000. Solution: always step back and question the reference point. Anchors are illusions designed to steer your judgment. D. The herd mentality, safety in numbers. Humans are social creatures. We feel safer doing what others do, even when it's wrong. This explains financial bubbles, viral investment fads, and panic selling. The crowd rarely thinks, it reacts. Solution: don't follow the noise. Be the investor who pauses when others rush. The crowd buys at the top and sells at the bottom. E. Overconfidence bias, the illusion of control. The more success we experience, the more we believe in our ability to predict outcomes. Traders, entrepreneurs, and even professionals fall into this trap, mistaking luck for skill. Solution: stay humble. In finance, humility is not weakness, it's protection. The market rewards discipline, not ego. The emotion bias connection. Cognitive biases and emotions feed each other. Fear amplifies loss aversion. Excitement fuels overconfidence. Stress triggers mental shortcuts. When your emotions rise, your logic falls. That's why financial mastery begins with emotional regulation, because a calm mind can see what a fearful heart cannot. Recognizing the bias within. Awareness is your strongest weapon. Whenever you're about to make a financial move, ask yourself, am I reacting to facts or feelings? Am I influenced by others, opinions, or my own analysis? What assumptions am I making without evidence? Each question cuts through illusion and brings you closer to clarity. Reprogramming your decision process. To escape the cognitive bias trap, adopt these mental disciplines. Slow down your decisions. Time weakens emotional distortion. Track your choices. Journaling your reasoning exposes patterns. Use data, not drama. Ground your decisions in evidence, not headlines. Learn from feedback. Every mistake is a teacher, not a curse. The mind that learns from its own biases becomes its own best advisor. From mental traps to mental mastery. The goal isn't to eliminate biases. That's impossible. The goal is to recognize them before they control you. A disciplined thinker uses awareness as armor. Once you understand how your mind deceives you, you can transform every financial decision into a conscious act of mastery rather than a blind emotional reaction. Because the greatest wealth isn't just measured in money, it's measured in the clarity of the mind that governs it. Chapter 5: The Wealth Identity Blueprint. Before wealth can exist in your hands, it must first exist in your mind. Your financial reality is a reflection of your identity, the image you hold of yourself, and what you subconsciously believe you deserve. Every decision you make about money, how much you earn, save, risk, or give, is filtered through the lens of your wealth identity. And until that identity expands, your income, opportunities, and results will remain limited by invisible walls of self-perception. The law of inner correspondence. There is a universal principle that says, as within, so without. Your outer world mirrors your inner beliefs. If you see yourself as a survivor, you'll always find yourself in survival mode. If you see yourself as a creator of wealth, you'll naturally find ways to produce value and attract abundance. This isn't wishful thinking, it's psychological conditioning. The subconscious mind works tirelessly to keep your outer life consistent with your inner self-image. So if you secretly believe you're undeserving of prosperity, you'll unconsciously sabotage your success to stay true to your identity. The self-worth, net worth connection. Money flows toward people who believe they are worthy of it. Not because the universe is biased, but because worthiness determines action. A person with low self-worth hesitates to negotiate higher pay, avoids big opportunities, and settles for less. A person with high self-worth invests in themselves, makes bold moves, and expects reward for their value. Your bank account is often a mirror, not of your intelligence, but of your internal sense of worth. When you raise your self-worth, you unconsciously raise your financial ceiling. The financial thermostat. Each person operates with an invisible financial thermostat, a comfort zone for money. Some people feel uneasy when their income rises, others panic when it falls. No matter what happens, they find a way back to their comfort level. That comfort level is programmed by years of experience, culture, and identity. To increase it, you must rewire your sense of what's normal. If $50,000 per month feels impossible, your brain won't create paths to achieve it. But once you truly accept it as achievable, your behavior aligns with that belief. Change your inner thermostat, and your outer results follow. The identity trap: who you think you are. Many people stay stuck because they confuse circumstance with identity. You are not your bank balance. You are not your debts. You are not your past financial mistakes. These are experiences, not definitions. When you say, "I'm just not good with money," you turn a temporary condition into a permanent identity. The moment you stop saying "I am broke" and start saying "I'm learning to manage money better," you shift from victimhood to ownership. Identity is the foundation of transformation. Building a wealth identity blueprint. To reprogram your self-image for abundance, you must rebuild the mental structure of who you believe yourself to be. Here's how. Step 1. Define your wealth vision. Picture the kind of person who easily manages, multiplies, and shares wealth. How does that version of you think, speak, and act? Step 2. Rehearse the identity daily. Speak and behave as that person today. The brain rewires through repetition and consistency. Step 3. Surround yourself with wealth mindsets. Environment reinforces identity. Spend time with people who think at the level you aspire to reach. Step 4. Align habits with beliefs. Take small daily actions that reinforce your new financial identity: saving, investing, learning, and giving. Step 5. Speak abundance language. Eliminate scarcity talk. Words are blueprints that build mental architecture. You can't think like a pauper and live like a prince. The emotional energy of wealth. True wealth identity is not arrogance, it's alignment. When you feel abundant, you stop chasing money out of fear and start creating it from purpose. You see money as energy, a tool for impact, a reflection of the value you deliver. This shift changes everything. You stop undercharging. You stop overspending. You stop proving your worth through possessions. You become calm, intentional, and magnetic. Because abundance is not about accumulation, it's about confidence in creation. The future self principle. Imagine your wealthy future self, confident, wise, generous, and free. That version of you already exists in potential. Your task is to bridge the gap between who you are and who you're becoming. Each disciplined action, saving, learning, investing, giving, is a vote for your future self. With every act of alignment, your identity evolves and your reality expands to match it. The final insight. The journey to wealth is not first an economic challenge, it's a psychological evolution. When your self-image grows larger than your circumstances must expand to catch up. So instead of asking, "How can I make more money?" start asking, "Who must I become to attract, manage, and multiply wealth with ease?" Because once your identity aligns with prosperity, wealth becomes not something you chase, but something you naturally create. Chapter 6. The fear of poverty and the guilt of prosperity. Few forces are as powerful and as deeply rooted in the human psyche as the fear of poverty and the guilt of prosperity. These two invisible emotions, one pulling you down, the other holding you back, form an emotional paradox that silently shapes your financial destiny. You may desire abundance, yet fear losing it. You may dream of wealth, yet feel unworthy to have it. Between these conflicting emotions lies the inner battlefield where most people's financial struggles are fought and lost. The fear of poverty, the shadow of scarcity. The fear of poverty is not just the anxiety of having too little, it's the dread of powerlessness. It's the subconscious terror that you could lose everything, be abandoned, or become insignificant. This fear often originates in childhood. Perhaps you witnessed financial struggle in your family, heard arguments about money, or experienced deprivation. Without realizing it, your mind recorded a warning: scarcity is dangerous, money can disappear, security is fragile. Even when your income grows, the fear lingers. You might find yourself hoarding money instead of investing it, overworking, afraid to rest or take risks, feeling anxious at the thought of giving or spending. This fear doesn't protect you, it imprisons you. It keeps you in survival mode, unable to expand beyond your comfort zone. How fear manifests in financial behavior. The fear of poverty disguises itself in many subtle ways. Oversaving, mistaking control for safety. Chronic underearning, avoiding greater responsibility or visibility. Risk avoidance, missing opportunities due to fear of loss. Scarcity mindset, believing wealth for others means less for you. Fear creates contraction, and contraction blocks flow. The more you cling to security, the more you repel abundance. To be financially free, you must learn to trust life beyond the limits of fear. The guilt of prosperity, the hidden resistance to wealth. If fear keeps you from reaching wealth, guilt prevents you from enjoying it. Many people feel unspoken shame when they begin to succeed, as if they're betraying their roots, leaving others behind, or taking more than they deserve. They downplay their success, overgive to compensate, or even self-sabotage when prosperity arrives. This guilt is learned, not earned. It often stems from cultural or religious conditioning that glorifies struggle and demonizes wealth. You may have internalized beliefs like, good people shouldn't care about money. If I prosper, others will suffer. It's prideful to enjoy luxury. But guilt is emotional poison disguised as humility. It disconnects you from the very energy that sustains generosity and growth. The paradox of prosperity. Here lies the paradox. You cannot fully create wealth if you fear poverty, and you cannot fully enjoy it if you feel guilty for having it. One emotion says, you'll lose everything. The other whispers, you don't deserve this. Both rob you of peace. And peace, not pressure, is the foundation of sustainable prosperity. True wealth is never born out of fear or guilt. It is born out of alignment with purpose, contribution, and gratitude. Healing the fear of poverty. To free yourself from scarcity consciousness, begin by cultivating trust and abundance thinking. Acknowledge your fear. Suppressed fear gains power, admitted fear dissolves. Gratitude practice. Focus on what you have, not what you lack. Gratitude reprograms the brain for abundance. Take bold but measured risks. Each courageous action weakens fear's grip. Visualize sufficiency. See money as energy that flows to and through you, not away from you. The moment you realize that security doesn't come from money but from mindset, you become truly free. Releasing the guilt of prosperity. To dissolve guilt, you must redefine what prosperity means. Wealth is not greed, it's stewardship. You are a channel through which resources can bless others. Your abundance does not deprive others. Prosperity multiplies possibilities, it expands, not subtracts. Generosity begins with wholeness. You can't pour from an empty cup. You bless more people when your own cup is full. Celebrate your progress without apology. Your success doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you a living example of possibility. The spiritual balance of wealth. When fear and guilt are released, wealth becomes a tool for expression, not oppression. Money flows naturally when it's aligned with purpose, love, and contribution. In this balance, you no longer chase wealth to prove your worth. You create wealth to fulfill your calling. You don't hoard money to feel safe. You circulate it with faith that more will come. You don't apologize for success. You use it to serve something greater than yourself. That is financial enlightenment. When your heart is free from fear, your conscience free from guilt, and your mind free to create. The new emotional foundation. Imagine living without financial fear, knowing that even if you lost everything, you could rebuild again. Imagine enjoying prosperity without guilt, knowing your wealth uplifts rather than diminishes others. This is the emotional freedom that precedes financial freedom. When your emotions are healed, your finances follow. Because the most valuable currency in the world is not money. It's peace of mind. Chapter 7. The Neuroscience of Financial Decision-Making. Money decisions are not just matters of logic or luck. They are the result of a delicate dance between the neurons in your brain. Every financial choice, from saving or spending to investing or gambling, is shaped by the interplay of brain chemistry, neural pathways, and subconscious impulses that have evolved over millennia. To understand your financial behavior, you must first understand your financial brain, the inner circuitry that determines how you react to risk, reward, uncertainty, and opportunity. The brain's financial control center. Deep within the folds of your mind lies a triad of systems that govern your money decisions. The prefrontal cortex, the planner, the thinker, the rational decision maker. It weighs options, predicts outcomes, and sets long-term goals. The amygdala, the emotional alarm system. It reacts to financial fear, loss, or excitement. The nucleus accumbens, the brain's reward hub. It lights up when you anticipate financial gain or pleasure. In theory, the prefrontal cortex should lead, calmly and logically. But in moments of stress or temptation, the amygdala and the reward centers often hijack control, leading to impulsive spending, panic selling, or risky gambles. Financial mastery begins when the thinking brain learns to stay in charge, even when the emotional brain is screaming. The dopamine loop, why anticipation feels better than reward. Every time you expect a financial gain, a bonus, a market rise, or even a discount, your brain releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter of anticipation. But here's the paradox. Dopamine is released not when you get the reward, but when you expect it. That means the thrill of waiting for your paycheck, or the excitement before closing a deal, is chemically stronger than the satisfaction of actually receiving it. This explains why people chase risk, overtrade, or buy impulsively. Their brains are addicted to the anticipation, not the outcome. The wise investor learns to detach from this chemical thrill and focus on consistent, deliberate decisions, not emotional highs. Risk and the brain, the tug-of-war between safety and reward. Every financial choice triggers a subconscious question: is it safe? Your brain constantly balances risk and reward, activating different circuits for each. The insula and amygdala warn you of potential danger, loss, uncertainty, instability. The striatum and prefrontal cortex encourage exploration, opportunity, growth, innovation. In people with strong fear circuits, money decisions are conservative, cautious, and sometimes self-limiting. In those dominated by the reward circuits, money choices may become reckless, greedy, or speculative. True financial intelligence is neural balance, the ability to stay calm in uncertainty and disciplined in opportunity. Loss aversion, why losing hurts twice as much as winning feels good. Neuroscience confirms that the brain experiences the pain of financial loss twice, as intensely as the pleasure of equivalent gain. This phenomenon, known as loss aversion, explains why many people hold losing stocks too long, avoid investments that carry risk, or panic sell during downturns. The brain's pain centers, especially the anterior insula, light up during loss, creating a powerful urge to avoid pain, even at the cost of future gain. Understanding this bias allows you to make financial decisions based on logic rather than emotional discomfort. The goal is not to eliminate fear, but to recognize it and act with courage despite it. The neuroplasticity of wealth, rewiring your financial mind. The brain is not fixed, it's plastic. Every repeated financial behavior, whether saving, budgeting, or overspending, strengthens certain neural pathways. Over time, these pathways form your money habits. But neuroplasticity also means you can change. By practicing delayed gratification, mindful spending, and consistent investing, you can literally retrain your brain to make wiser decisions. Old neural circuits of fear and impulsivity weaken, while new ones of discipline and foresight grow stronger. Wealth is not just earned, it's wired. Building a high-performance financial brain. To enhance your brain's financial intelligence. Sleep well. Rest restores the prefrontal cortex, improving decision clarity. Reduce stress. Chronic stress shrinks your brain's reasoning ability. Practice mindfulness. Awareness strengthens control over emotional reactions. Learn continuously. Financial education stimulates neural growth and adaptability. When your brain is calm, rested, and educated, your financial choices align naturally with your long-term goals. The mind-brain wealth connection. Ultimately, your wealth is not built in your bank account, it's built in your brain. Every decision you make either strengthens or weakens your financial circuits. Master your brain, and you master your money. Because wealth is not just what you have, it's how your mind handles what you have. The richest minds are not those with the most money, but those with the most neural control. Chapter 8. Spending Psychology, the Hidden Drivers of Consumer Behavior. Every time you spend money, whether it's on a luxury watch, a cup of coffee, or a charitable donation, you are expressing something deeper than need. Spending is not merely a transaction, it's a psychological statement. Behind every purchase lies an invisible force, a mix of emotions, memories, identity, and subconscious desires. Marketers understand this better than most consumers. They don't sell products, they sell feelings. To master your financial life, you must first uncover what your spending habits say about you. The psychology of want versus need. The line between want and need is rarely clear. A need satisfies survival, food, shelter, security. A want satisfies emotion, comfort, pride, pleasure, or belonging. In modern economies, most of our spending caters to psychological needs masquerading as material ones. We don't just buy shoes to walk, we buy status, style, or self-expression. We don't buy cars for transport, we buy symbols of freedom, power, or success. Understanding this difference is the key to breaking free from unconscious spending patterns. Ask yourself before every purchase, am I meeting a real need or soothing an emotional one? The emotional triggers of buying. Every spending decision is an emotional event, driven by one or more of the following hidden triggers. Fear, if I don't get this now, I'll miss out. Scarcity and FOMO. Pride, I've earned this, I deserve it. Reward and ego. Insecurity, this will make me look more successful. Status signaling. Comfort, I've had a hard day, I need this. Emotional relief. Belonging, everyone else has it, I should too. Social proof. Advertisers spend billions to activate these triggers. They are not appealing to your logic, they are speaking directly to your limbic brain. Once you learn to recognize the emotional hooks, you reclaim your financial power. The reward system, why spending feels so good. When you buy something, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical of pleasure and anticipation. This surge creates a temporary emotional high, what psychologists call the buyer's buzz. But here, the trick. The dopamine is released not when you own the item, but when you anticipate owning it. That's why window shopping or adding items to your cart feels almost as good as the purchase itself. And it's also why people often experience buyer's remorse afterward. The brain's chemistry drops once the excitement ends. To spend wisely, learn to separate the feeling of wanting from the wisdom of waiting. Identity spending, you buy who you think you are. Spending is a reflection of self-image. Your purchases tell a story about who you believe yourself to be, or who you wish to become. The minimalist spends to feel disciplined and free. The luxury shopper spends to feel important and visible. The philanthropist spends to feel purposeful and connected. Every spending habit reinforces an identity. When you spend in alignment with your true values and goals, you experience satisfaction. When you spend against them, you feel guilt, emptiness, or regret. Financial peace is not found in having more, but in having purchases that mirror your authentic self. The influence of society and marketing. Modern consumer culture is designed to shape behavior subtly but powerfully. Social media glamorizes lifestyles, advertising manipulates emotions, and peer pressure fuels comparison. The result is a constant sense of not enough, not rich enough, not stylish enough, not happy enough. Marketers exploit three major psychological biases. Social proof: if others buy it, it must be good. Scarcity bias: limited stock or time triggers urgency. Authority bias: influencers and celebrities shape buying trust. Awareness is the antidote. Once you see how the system plays you, you begin to play the system. Emotional spending patterns, the 5 behavioral types. Psychologists categorize consumers into behavioral spending archetypes. 1. The compensator, buys to fill emotional voids or relieve stress. 2. The status seeker, purchases to signal success and importance. 3. The saver spender, constantly swings between frugality and indulgence. 4. The escapist, spends to distract from problems or boredom. 5. The conscious consumer buys deliberately, values quality and purpose. The goal is not to label yourself, but to observe your tendencies, because awareness transforms behavior. Once you understand why you spend, you can choose how to spend. Conscious spending, the path to financial freedom. To master spending psychology, you must develop a mindful relationship with money. This means: pause before purchase. Ask, why am I really buying this? Align spending with purpose. Spend on things that improve your life, not your image. Detach emotion from possession. Happiness is internal, not purchased. Invest in experiences and growth. These yield lasting fulfillment, not fleeting thrills. The conscious spender is not stingy, they are intentional. They buy meaning, not just material. They know that wealth is not measured by how much you spend, but by how much peace you retain after spending. The final shift, from consumer to creator. In the end, financial mastery is not about resisting consumption, but redefining it. The ultimate evolution is moving from a consumer mindset to a creator mindset. From buying what others produce to producing what others buy. When you become the designer, innovator, or investor, the psychology of spending transforms into the psychology of value creation. And that is the true secret of wealth: to control the narrative behind your money rather than being controlled by it. Chapter 9. The relationship between money and love. Money and love, 2 of the most powerful forces in human life, are deeply intertwined, often more than we realize. Both evoke passion, fear, vulnerability, and desire. Both can elevate or destroy relationships. And both serve as mirrors, reflecting our deepest beliefs about worth, trust, and security. When love meets money, emotions intensify. What we call financial conflict is rarely about numbers. It's about needs, values, and identity. To master financial psychology, we must first understand how love and money dance together, sometimes in harmony, sometimes in tension. Money as emotional currency. Money, in the context of love, becomes more than a medium of exchange. It becomes a symbol of care, control, and connection. In relationships, giving money can represent love, trust, or sacrifice. Withholding money can signal resentment, fear, or punishment. Overspending can mean seeking approval or proving affection. Saving secretly can mean protecting oneself or withholding trust. In other words, money often speaks the emotional language that words fail to express. When couples argue about finances, they are not just fighting over bills. They are wrestling over belonging, safety, and respect. The hidden beliefs about love and money. From childhood, we develop subconscious money-love scripts, emotional stories that govern how we give, receive, and share both affection and resources. Consider these inner beliefs. If I love someone, I should provide for them. If they really loved me, they wouldn't care about money. Money complicates love. Without money, love doesn't last. These beliefs shape every romantic decision, from dating choices to marriage dynamics. For instance, someone raised in scarcity may equate financial stability with emotional security, while another raised in abundance may view generosity as love itself. The key is to uncover your own script and to rewrite it consciously. Power dynamics and financial control. Money creates power. In love, power dynamics often emerge when one partner earns or controls more. Sometimes the higher earner feels entitled to make decisions. Other times, they feel pressured to overgive. Meanwhile, the dependent partner may feel guilt, resentment, or insecurity. Healthy relationships require financial equality, not in income but in agency. Each partner should feel empowered to make, manage, and discuss money without fear or shame. True intimacy grows where financial transparency exists, where money becomes a shared mission, not a weapon. The love languages of money. Gary Chapman described 5 love languages: words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, gifts, and physical touch. But there's also a financial love language, the way people express and receive affection through money. For example, the giver shows love through generosity and shared experiences. The saver shows love by planning, protecting, and securing the future. The spender expresses love through excitement and enjoyment. The controller expresses love through structure and order. Conflict often arises when 2 different money languages meet. For example, when a giver marries a saver. Harmony is achieved not by changing each other, but by learning each other's emotional translation of money. Financial intimacy, the ultimate trust test. Talking about money is more intimate than talking about sex. It exposes fears, habits, and insecurities we hide even from ourselves. That's why many couples avoid financial discussions. It feels too vulnerable. Yet financial intimacy is essential for lasting love. It means being honest about income, debt, and spending habits, sharing financial goals and dreams, making joint decisions while respecting individual freedom, creating transparency instead of secrecy. Money doesn't destroy relationships, silence about money does. The scarcity mindset in love. Scarcity, the belief that there is not enough, affects both wealth and relationships. When you fear not having enough money, you begin to fear losing love as well. You may cling, control, or compete. But love and abundance grow only in the soil of trust and freedom. Abundant relationships view money as a tool, not a test. They see prosperity as a shared mission, not a measure of superiority. In the abundance mindset, love fuels wealth and wealth empowers love. Love, generosity, and prosperity. Generosity is the bridge between love and money. When you give freely, not out of guilt or pressure, but out of genuine care, you activate one of the most powerful emotional laws, the law of mutual fulfillment. Giving increases connection, withholding creates distance. But generosity must be wise, balanced by self-respect and discernment. As both love and money flow, they multiply, because the energy of giving is also the energy of growing. The true wealth of relationships. In the end, the richest people are not those who possess the most, but those who love the best. Money can enhance love but cannot replace it. It can magnify character but cannot create commitment. It can buy comfort but not connection. When money and love are aligned, when both partners share values, vision, and vulnerability, they create not just a prosperous life, but a powerful legacy. The true currency of life is not money, it is meaning, shared between hearts that trust each other enough to build together. Chapter 10: The Entrepreneurial Mindset and Risk Psychology. Entrepreneurship is more than a business pursuit, it is a psychological journey. Every entrepreneur is not merely building a company, they are also shaping a mind. Behind every product, every pitch, and every risk lies an intricate web of emotions, beliefs, and neural patterns that determine whether one thrives or fails. To understand the entrepreneurial path, you must understand the psychology of risk, the mental framework that governs how we respond to uncertainty, pressure, and opportunity. The entrepreneurial brain, wired for possibility. Entrepreneurs see what others don't, not because they have different eyes, but because they have a different mindset. The entrepreneurial brain thrives on novelty, challenge, and possibility. Neuroscience reveals that successful entrepreneurs possess a unique balance between two systems. The reward system, powered by dopamine, driving vision, ambition, and pursuit of opportunity. The threat system, controlled by the amygdala, which senses danger and fuels caution. Most people let the threat system dominate, avoiding uncertainty. Entrepreneurs, however, have learned to dance with uncertainty. They don't eliminate fear, they channel it into focus, preparation, and creativity. The psychology of risk. Risk is not an external factor, it's a perception. What one person sees as danger, another sees as potential. The difference lies not in the situation, but in the mental framing of it. Entrepreneurs possess what psychologists call risk tolerance, the emotional resilience to face loss, failure, and volatility without paralysis. But tolerance is not recklessness. True entrepreneurs calculate risk not by emotion, but by information and probability. The secret is not to avoid risk, but to transform it into measured courage, to balance vision with vigilance. The dopamine factor, the thrill of the unknown. The entrepreneurial journey is fueled by dopamine, the neurotransmitter of drive and anticipation. It's what makes the risk of launching a new venture, negotiating a deal, or creating something from nothing so addictive. But this same dopamine high can become dangerous. It can push entrepreneurs toward impulsive decisions, overexpansion, or burnout in pursuit of the next big win. The disciplined entrepreneur learns to regulate their excitement, to enjoy the process, not just the payoff. Mastery is found not in chasing dopamine, but in sustaining direction. Fear, failure, and the growth loop. Failure is the entrepreneur's constant companion and their greatest teacher. Yet most people never take big leaps because of one emotion, fear. The entrepreneurial mindset reframes fear not as a signal to retreat, but as an invitation to learn. Neuroscientists call this the growth loop. Each failure creates neural feedback that sharpens decision-making and strategy. Entrepreneurs who embrace this loop develop emotional resilience. Those who avoid it stagnate. To succeed long-term, you must replace the fear of failure with curiosity about feedback. The mind that learns faster wins faster. Cognitive biases in entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs must constantly guard against mental blind spots, the cognitive biases that distort perception and decision. The most common are overconfidence bias, overestimating one's skill or market potential; optimism bias, ignoring downside risks in pursuit of big dreams; confirmation bias, seeking only evidence that supports one's ideas; sunk cost fallacy, holding on to a failing venture because of invested time or money. The wise entrepreneur embraces humility, the courage to question assumptions, pivot quickly, and seek dissenting views. Because the most powerful business asset is not capital, it is clarity. The emotional resilience factor. Entrepreneurship is emotionally volatile. There are days of triumph and weeks of uncertainty. Success requires more than strategy, it requires emotional regulation. Research shows that resilient entrepreneurs recover quickly from setbacks, maintain optimism under pressure, derive motivation from purpose, not applause, manage stress through discipline and perspective. They treat challenges as data, not as defeats. They are grounded in meaning, not moods. And that emotional steadiness becomes their greatest competitive advantage. The balance between logic and intuition. Entrepreneurs rely on both analysis and intuition. The analytical mind assesses numbers, trends, and data. The intuitive mind senses timing, alignment, and gut feeling. Great entrepreneurs know how to use both, the brain for calculation, the heart for direction. When intuition is refined by experience, it becomes strategic instinct. It's the inner compass that tells you when to move fast, when to wait, and when to let go. Success emerges when logic and intuition move in harmony, when the intellect respects the whispers of the spirit. The abundance mindset, seeing opportunity everywhere. Where others see scarcity, entrepreneurs see possibility. This is the essence of the abundance mindset, the belief that value can always be created, even in crisis. During economic downturns, most retreat, entrepreneurs innovate. Where people see limitation, they see leverage. Where people see competition, they see collaboration. This mindset is not naive optimism, it is trained perception, a disciplined refusal to see life through the lens of lack. The abundance thinker knows the world is not short of opportunity, it is short of courageous minds. Purpose, the ultimate anchor of risk. At the core of every enduring entrepreneur is a purpose stronger than profit. When your why is clear, your how becomes unstoppable. Purpose transforms risk into mission, setbacks into feedback, and uncertainty into growth. It anchors the entrepreneur's psyche, keeping the heart steady when numbers fluctuate and markets tremble. Money motivates. Purpose sustains. Together, they create the psychology of unstoppable success. The entrepreneur's mind, the new frontier. In the end, entrepreneurship is not just about building businesses, it's about building brains. It's about cultivating the neural architecture of creativity, courage, and calculated risk. Because the future belongs to those who can think boldly, act decisively, and adapt rapidly. The entrepreneurial mind is not born, it is trained. And when you master the psychology of risk, you no longer chase opportunities, you create them. Chapter 11. Reprogramming your financial mindset for lasting wealth. Wealth begins in the mind long before it manifests in your bank account. The patterns of your financial life, earning, saving, investing, and spending are not merely habits, They are deeply rooted mental programs shaped by early experiences, cultural conditioning, and emotional associations. To achieve lasting wealth, one must go beyond learning financial strategies and instead rewire the subconscious blueprint that governs those strategies. Reprogramming your financial mindset begins with awareness, identifying the limiting beliefs that silently dictate your financial ceiling. These are beliefs like money is hard to earn, I'm not good with money, or rich people are greedy. Every time these narratives play out in your mind, they reinforce financial behaviors that sabotage progress. The first step to freedom is recognizing them for what they are: outdated scripts that no longer serve your highest potential. The process of reprogramming involves mental substitution, replacing destructive thoughts with empowering beliefs. For example, instead of saying, "I can't afford this," you can reframe it as, "How can I create the resources to afford this?" Such linguistic shifts open the brain's creative centers, engaging problem-solving networks and fostering financial growth rather than scarcity. Another powerful tool is visualization. Neuroscience has proven that vividly imagining success activates the same neural pathways as real achievement. By consistently visualizing yourself as a disciplined, strategic, and abundant individual, you begin to embody those traits. Visualization, when coupled with affirmations like, "I attract opportunities that multiply my wealth effortlessly," can reshape both neural circuits and emotional resonance around money. But mindset alone is incomplete without emotional regulation. The ability to stay calm amid market volatility, business challenges, or unexpected expenses determines whether your mindset translates into real results. Mindfulness, meditation, and journaling help anchor your emotions, keeping fear and greed, the two great financial saboteurs, under control. Equally important is environmental conditioning. Your social and physical environments influence your financial psychology more than you might realize. Surrounding yourself with abundance-minded people, consuming empowering content, and maintaining organized financial spaces all send powerful signals to your subconscious that you are capable and worthy of wealth. Finally, behavioral alignment seals the transformation. The brain changes through repetition and experience. By automating small, consistent actions, saving a fixed percentage of income, investing regularly, or practicing gratitude for every financial inflow, you create neural consistency that reinforces your new wealth identity. Reprogramming your financial mindset is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong evolution. Each new level of income and success requires a new mental model to sustain it. As you evolve, remember, wealth is not just about money. It is about mastering the inner forces that attract, manage, and multiply it.